I'm talking to the camera. Hi!
Hi!
Namaste. Hey, it's Amber. Welcome back. Today I thought I would do a video that I've actually been thinking about for a while but have held off on just because I had other things I wanted to do, and that is 7 ways that Asian culture has impacted me or changed my life. And I'm generalizing by saying Asian culture because this is a combination of things that I've picked up from various different countries that all fall under the group of being in Asia. And without any further ado, let's start. So number one thing that I am thankful to Asian culture for is that it was kind of my first love when it comes to experiencing different cultures. My aunt is Filipino and she was my first interaction with somebody who wasn't from my culture, and I credit her with a lot of the reasons why I'm interested in meeting people from other countries and getting to know them. And my dad worked at a Korean church for many years before I was born, and so I had exposure to Korean culture through him. Because both of those are Asian countries, my first glimpses outside my own world, so to speak, were into Asian cultures. And so I think because of that, I'll always have a special place in my heart for Asian cultures. I have said Asian way too many times in this video. I'm sorry to keep repeating the same word, but I don't know of any other way to say it because I can't list all the countries I'm referring to, and it'll just take too long. Number 2, and this seems kind of superficial, but I'm really thankful for Asian food. Believe it or not, I've never been to an Asian restaurant here in the United States. Except for one time. A friend of mine found out I had never had Thai food, and so she took me to the closest Thai restaurant, literally, as soon as she found out, which was kind of funny and spontaneous, and I loved it. It was delicious. However, most of my exposure to Asian food has been in homes where it's been cooked for me, and it's been delicious. I love my aunt's fried rice and her lumpia, and I love flan. So good. That's actually, I've also found that in Honduras. I thought that was really neat. There's some Filipino and Honduran things that remind me of each other, probably because of the Spanish influence in the Philippines, but flan is so good. And I also have really come to love rice. I used to not like rice when I was little, but because I was interacting with a lot of Asians as I got older, I wanted to eat what they were eating, and now I love rice. Oh, the first time I had sushi was in a home. My Chinese friend fixed it for me. So good. Absolutely amazing. I have been in love with sushi ever since. Especially she makes sushi that has sweet corn in it. Don't get me started on food. So yes, I'm really thankful for being able to experience new foods because of Asian culture. Going along with that is number 3, and that is chopsticks. I am super comfortable using chopsticks, and in fact there are a lot of dishes that I would rather use chopsticks than a fork for. I can eat in the American style where you're using like your hands for finger food, or you're using a fork or a spoon. I can eat more European style where you're using like a knife and a fork, and it's slightly different than American way. I actually really like, that's how I usually eat, with a knife and fork. And then certain dishes I have to have chopsticks. I'm like, I can't eat this with a fork. What do you say? They've just become something that I need, and I like them. And I have really cute ones. They've got like purple flowers on them. They're so pretty. I like my chopsticks. Number 4 is something that I did not plan on, it just happened, and that is now when I meet somebody, I instinctively want to bow to greet them, which I think I picked up from Korean culture, because Filipinos don't do that and Nepalis don't bow, so I think it came from Korean culture. But even my dad still has a remnant of this. When he says hi to somebody, he does this little thing with his head from spending so much time working in a Korean church, and I picked it up both from him and then being around other Koreans, and so I automatically want to do this when I meet someone, no matter where in the world I am. Going along with that is another custom, another custom that has to do with body language that I have picked up from, and I think, as far as I know, this is across the board with any country in Asia, and that is when you pass somebody something, you pass it to them with both hands if you're being polite and respectful. Buddy, that's for you. Or pouring somebody's glass of water, or accepting something as well. If somebody gives you a gift, to take it with one hand is just unthought of. You have to take it with both. And I started doing it on purpose because I was interacting with cultures where I knew it was polite. And now it feels so weird for me to take something with one hand or to give somebody something with one hand. My brain is now hardwired differently in that area. Number 6 is something that applies to many cultures, but Asians aren't included in it. I think that in the United States, it's kind of expected that once you reach adult age, you have a very distant relationship with your family. Of course, there are exceptions. I know lots and lots of my friends that are close with their families. However, there's this level of there's an expectation that you no longer take your parents' advice, you no longer consult them when you make decisions, you no longer hang out with your siblings. That's just odd. Why would you do that? Or you no longer interact with them on a day-to-day basis. You stay as far away from them as possible, except on like Christmas and Easter and birthdays and Thanksgiving, and then you get together for a few hours. And other than that, you just live a separate life. And I don't do that. I spend a ton of time with my family. My parents are very active in my life. My siblings are very active in my life. I like that. I am a separate person, I am an adult, I have my own plans, my own goals, my own job, my own schedule, but at the same time, I am very, very much integrated into my family's life. And that's not very common in the United States, but it is common in almost every other country in the world. And so all of a sudden, when I started talking with other young adults that did that, I felt so normal, and I liked that. Well, thank you so much for helping me feel like I'm not weird just because I love my family. This is number 7. 7. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's combining public and private worship. In countries where Christianity is not the norm, and you stick out like a sore thumb if you practice Christianity because you're not doing what all the rest of the culture does, Christians tend to really blend their public and private worship. So for example, you could go into a church service and everybody there is having their own time with God, and they don't even notice you. They're doing whatever they would do in private, but they're doing it in a public sphere, and they don't care who's watching because to them it's just them and God, because He's the most important person in the room. I am really touched by observing that, and I want to adopt that and pull that into my life. It's not so much you don't care about other people, but it's that you know where your priorities are, and you know whose opinion is the most important, and that is the Lord's. And it's like abandoning your life to just Him. That is the most exciting, awesome, awe-inspiring thing a Christian can do. Completely getting rid of any pressure from anybody else in the world except for the Lord and what He thinks. That doesn't mean you go crazy because caring about His opinion is going to keep you where you need to be. But everybody else doesn't really matter. And that is so hard for somebody like me to say, but it's true, it's very freeing, and I just think that's amazing. Well, I smell chicken on the grill, and I'm hungry, and I promised my mom I would help her. We're having Filipino food tonight. So I'll talk to you later. Goodbye for now. Have a fantastic rest of your day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because thumbs up means more people watch it, and then more people might talk to me, because I like talking to people. I really do.